Welcome to the Wealth Embodied podcast. I'm your host, Brianna Faringer, an attorney, spiritual guide, and wealth activator. I'm here to help you align your mindset for abundance and break through any glass ceilings with money. If you're ready to embrace your highest calling, manifest with more ease, and create a life that feels lighter and more aligned, then let's dive in. Hello, welcome to the Wealth Embodied podcast. I'm your host, Brianna Faringer. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're having a good day so far, whatever you're doing. So I'm going to talk about worrying today, worrying about money. And I have talked about this before, but not with the kind of specificity that I'm going to go into today. And I've been thinking about this topic a lot because of an interaction I had with somebody last week. Most people worry about money. That's just what happens. It feels normal. It feels like that's what we're all supposed to be doing because that's what we've been programmed to believe, that we have to worry about money if we don't have it, or if we don't have the amount of money that we think we want or we think we need in our lives. And there are definitely people who don't worry about money, but most people I know do. And this woman, we were just, talking. She was not a client of mine. She knew that I, do some money mindset work and said something along the lines of, I just don't want to worry about money for the rest of my life, or I don't want to continue to worry about money every day. And I find that interesting because a lot of people don't express their worry to me in that way. Not because it's not that they don't have it. It's just that usually people are expressing it to me, number one, because they're coming to me as a client and wanting to work with me to change their relationship with money so that they don't have to worry. Or, it's in the context of an event, maybe an event that I'm at, and they're looking for some guidance. But this was just a general conversation I was having. And it really got me thinking about how to help people look at worrying maybe differently, or maybe use it as a way to start figuring out how to change things in your life. So worrying about money is not normal. And I don't like to use the word normal and not normal, but I don't know how else to explain it. It is not something that you have to do. It's not something everybody does. It's not something that is a part of you. It's not a personality trait. It's not a characteristic. It's not who you are. I'm saying that because I believed that worrying was a part of me. I believed it was just naturally who I was. I was a self-proclaimed worrier about money and everything else. Again, I've said this before, but people who were in my life, people who knew me really well, would have had a hint of that, but most people wouldn't have recognized that. I'm saying that because it's not like this is something that was noticeable to people. It was noticeable to me, but it really wasn't recognizable for other people. So when you listen to this, you may think like, oh, it's easy to figure out if somebody is worrying. It's not always. I was mostly keeping it to myself. And I was worried about money all the time, even when I had lots of it. I did not need to worry about money, but I did constantly. And I'm just bringing this up because I think it's important to acknowledge that if you worry about things, you can change it. It's a choice. Worrying is a choice. Worrying is not the result of the circumstances that are happening in our lives. It's not because of events that are happening. We let ourselves believe, oh, well, this thing happened in my life and now I'm going to worry about it. Worrying is a choice. Just like getting up out of your bed in the morning is a choice. Just like walking out the door and going and doing all of the things that you need to do for the day is a choice. Worrying is a choice. You don't have to do it. And your circumstances changing should not dictate how you do and don't feel about money or anything else for that matter. The reason we worry about things is we have decided for ourselves, oh, I have an emotional attachment or an emotional charge around this thing, and now I'm going to worry about it. I'm going to worry because something has happened that I didn't like, or I'm worried about something that's going to happen that I'm not going to like, or something that I perceive as bad. And now I'm going to have this emotional attachment to it that is worry. You don't have to do that. And having more money is not going to change that for you. And that's really what I want to get into today, is talk about identifying the reasons that a person is worrying. Because worrying, it doesn't feel good. And you may not realize that if you do it all the time. Worrying will feel safe if you do it all the time, because you are used to what it feels like to have the stress and anxiety in your body associated with the worry, whether it's about money or anything else. So you don't have to worry, and it's a choice to decide that you don't want to worry about money. Getting more money is not going to change that for you, and I'm really going to get into that. But I want to talk about something first, which is, if you worry about something, and I want to use money as the main topic today, but you can use this with anything. If you're worried about something, spend some time, sit down and write down all of the things that are coming up about this thing. What are you worried about? So this woman said to me, I don't want to worry about money every day. I don't know what that means, because that's going to be different for every single person. What is going to make her in her mind not worry about money is going to be different than somebody else. I can tell you that my interpretation of that, and what I believe most people mean when they say that, is they think that if they get enough money, they won't worry. Not true, which I'm going to talk about. But I don't want to assume that that's exactly what it is. So for example, I know for me, what it would take for me to not worry about money. And I don't really worry about money that much. That doesn't mean I have loads of it, but it does mean that I have made a conscious decision that I am not willing to live my life that way anymore. And I make a lot less money now today than I did 2 or 3 years ago. And I worry way less about money than I did before. So it's not your circumstances. It's not about how much money you're making. It's about whether or not you choose or do not choose to have that kind of worry, stress, anxiety in your life about money. You don't have to worry about money. Money's energy is neutral. You have decided something for yourself that makes it not neutral. You've decided that you have to worry about money because you don't have it, or you don't have the amount that you think you need. But you don't actually have to do that. And it feels a lot better to not be worried about money, no matter how much of it or how little of it you have. I can just tell you, because I've been on both sides of it. And getting rid of the constant worry feels so much better in my body. And I have far less health issues and chronic issues than I had before. And I know with certainty that that is a part of it. So if you worry about money, I would write down, what is the worry? What is it? Is it like, write down all of the thoughts that you have. Do you worry every single day that you're not going to be able to pay your bills? Write it down. Do you worry, are you currently worried about an expense that came up that was larger than you expected, or that you didn't expect at all? Write that down. Is the worry that you don't think you're going to have enough in retirement? Is it that you're worried you're not going to have enough money to pay for your kids to go to college or do something that they want to do, or that you think they might want to do after they're done with school? Write it down. But what is it? Because it's different for everybody. And once you can start to identify the worry, then you can start to confront it and say, how can I alleviate this? As I mentioned, worrying is a choice. But if you start to identify the reason that you're worrying, you can then figure out how to take action to stop worrying about the thing. And I'm going to give you an example. So let's just say a person is concerned about retirement. They're worried that they're not going to have enough in retirement. And I had this come up recently with somebody I'm working with. And my question, I kind of was trying to get more information about it. And basically what came out was a couple things. This person didn't want to look at spending habits or have to kind of figure out what that person needed for retirement, because it would then force that person to confront the current financial circumstances and have to face the choices that have already been made, which, by the way, you don't need to do. You don't have to look back and say, oh, I shouldn't have spent money on that. It's already done and over with. Leave it. But this person was concerned that they were going to have to look at their bank account and start making choices differently today so that money could be planned for in the future. That was a fear this person has, because then you have to look at your bank account and say, oh my gosh, I'm spending too much money on eating out. Oh, I'm spending too much money on X, Y, and Z. Well, if your worry is you're not going to have enough money in retirement, your way of fixing that is in the now. Start planning, start adjusting things today so that you have what you need in the future. And then you won't have to worry about it as much. That's an easy way to start to shift this. So even though worrying is a choice, there are action steps that people can take in their lives that can help them shift out of the worry, because they are taking action to set themselves up for the success that they think they need. So if this is you, if you're worried about how much you need in retirement, I will tell you, number one, do you know how much you need in retirement? If you don't, you need to figure that out. There's lots of ways to figure that out for free on the internet nowadays. You can also talk to a financial planner or a financial advisor. For several reasons, I might not suggest an advisor unless you know a lot about how to analyze the fees that you're going to be paying an advisor versus something else, but that's a completely different topic. Figuring out how much it is that you need in retirement and what you need to start doing today to get there. That helps you start to make a plan so that you can get yourself on track and know, okay, I don't have to worry about this thing. I can set it and forget it. I'm going to do the work now so that this is not a concern for me. But if you're constantly in this place of, oh, I'm worried about money and I'm not going to do anything about it, well, then you're always going to worry about money. That's probably what's going to happen. If your worry is in the short term, or you're having a hard time paying your bills, your day-to-day bills, that's a completely different question. And I will just tell you, those are not my clients. People who have a hard time paying their daily bills or their monthly bills, that are having a hard time meeting just their needs, are typically they're not the people I work with. Not for any reason other than that's just not aligned for me. The majority of the people I work with are people who actually are making good amounts of money, and they, no matter how much money they've made and no matter how hard they've worked, they don't feel content, and they also worry about money. And what we're working on is changing the relationship so that no matter how much money you do or don't have in your life, you do not have the constant stress, worry, anxiety around money. That feels so good. That's more valuable than money. I say this all the time. Feeling good in your body is more valuable than money. Feeling safe, feeling like you don't have to worry about money, that's more valuable than money. And most people don't realize that until they start to do the work of actually trying to uncover the things that are affecting them when it comes to money. And this is one of them. If your worry is about making enough money in the short term, those are people I don't usually work with, but I can just tell you from an action taking perspective, what I would do is, how much money are you making? How much money are you spending on things? Budgeting, recognizing where you can cut things out, picking up another stream of income if you can. There's a lot of action steps a person can take. They may not want to do those things, but in order to get to a place where they feel safe and they feel like they don't have to constantly worry about money every day, that might be the best option. And it's not going to be for everybody. If somebody has kids, can they work 2 full-time jobs? Probably not. But I'm just saying there are ways to add additional income streams, particularly now. In the current time that we are in, there are more ways to make money than I think there ever have been in the history of the world. There are so many ways to make money. And it depends on who you are, where you're at in your life, what you're wanting to do. But if you want to make more money today, you can. I'm in these forums online with a bunch of people. People are always I feel like almost every day someone's in there like, oh, hey, I would love to have somebody come over and help me organize stuff. I'll pay you X dollars an hour. Do you have a couple hours? And people will volunteer to go do it. Sometimes people will be like, I need help moving. Okay, do I want to help people move? No, I don't. But if I was desperate and I needed to make an extra $100 to make ends meet, would I do it? Absolutely. And so these are the things, like you can't just sit around and stew and worry and ruminate over all of the things that have happened or could happen or that you don't have. You can take action, number one, to start changing the worry. And number two, you can make an active choice not to do it. And I'm making it sound easier than it is, but it is easy if you choose that you want to stop worrying about money. You don't have to, it's a choice. Our thoughts create our reality. And worrying is like praying for what you don't want to happen. I say that often on here, and I say this in every single in-person workshop I do with people. When you put energy towards worrying on what you don't have, you're energetically asking for those situations to keep coming into your life. You will get people, resources, and experiences in your life that continue to show you that you should continue to worry about things. I'm going to say this another way. It's like watering a plant. If you have a problem that you're worrying about and you're constantly thinking about it, it's like watering a plant. It's going to grow. You have to be aware of that and just be like, oh, when I start to worry about X, I'm going to do this instead. I tell people, if you're worried about something, when you start to have that come up, you need a phrase or a reframe that you can go to that reminds you not to do it. It might be worrying is like praying for what you don't want to happen. If that resonates for you, put it on a Post-it note and put it everywhere around your house, your car, in your purse, in your wallet, on your cell phone, in places that you are regularly, in an office, on your computer, whatever. Put reminders up for yourselves. You can't be expected to remember all of these things all the time. I can't, and I have an amazing memory, but I forget these things sometimes, and I put Post-it notes up everywhere until it becomes just automatic. And I'm like, oh yeah, I don't need to worry. I don't need to worry. Come up with a reframe. If you're worried that you're not going to have money for retirement and you start taking action steps to do what you need to do to start saving, then your reframe may be, I'm doing everything I can to have the money I need for retirement. Something like that. Your reframe could be, I'm choosing not to worry about money. You have to practice this so that it starts to shift. It takes practice. You're not just going to decide one day, oh, I'm not going to worry about money anymore, and it's going to happen. Please just make reminders for yourselves. Do whatever you need to do to remind yourself, oh, I'm not going to worry about this thing. Not worrying requires you having some trust in yourself and having some trust in the universe. I had a friend actually say to me a couple of weeks ago, and she's somebody who's done a little bit of my money mindset work. And she said to me, I've looked back on my life and all of the times where I've not had money, or I've thought that I'm not going to ever have money to pay for certain things. And she's like, and it just always works out. It has just always worked itself out. There's always been something that has happened where I had the money, I got the money, I was able to do the thing. And she's like, and now I just remind myself of that. That is an incredible realization, because that is the case for pretty much everybody. Things always work themselves out. If you need to get money today for something, you can get it. You can. Almost everybody can get it. They can go earn it. They can use a credit card. They can borrow from somebody. Now, if you don't have those opportunities, okay, that's a different circumstance. You might be in really dire straits, okay? But if you need money today for something, more likely than not, you can figure out how to get it. This is something people they choose to overlook. They've decided for themselves, well, I'm not going to do that. I refuse to borrow money from somebody. I refuse to go do a job I don't want to do. And so then they've decided for themselves that they can't make something work. That's just not true. That's a choice. But the other thing I want to say about identifying what you're worrying about is okay, if you don't even really know what the worry is, and it's just a general worry, and you think that having more money is going to take away your worries, I would tell you probably are going to have to do a little bit more deep inner work to shift that belief. And I'll tell you why, because most people do not worry less when they have more money. I did an entire podcast episode on this. It was about, generally, I had heard this, one of the Real Housewives on Beverly Hills, she was on a podcast I don't know how much money she has. She has a lot. She's got a lot more than the average person does. I'm sure between she and her husband, have a lot of assets. I'm sure that they have a lot of income. If you live in Beverly Hills, you'd have to. She said she constantly worries about money. Now, does every rich person worry about money? Maybe not, but I do think most of them do. And it's because I work with people who have a lot of money. They make a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, $500,000 upwards that they're making every year. And the thing is, when you get more money, your money problems become bigger. It doesn't change you inside. It doesn't change the person that you are. When I worried about money my entire life, no matter how much I had. When I was making multiple six figures and I didn't have to worry about money, I constantly worried about money. It's always going to be there. So if you have a belief that getting more money is going to change your life and make you not worry, I can tell you with almost 100% certainty that's not true. The more money you get, the more you're going to continue to worry about it if you don't shift it now. That's why changing your relationship with money now in the present moment is the most important thing you can do, so that when you do have money, you're not continually worrying about it and it feels good. I mean, the thing is, like, getting more money, it will temporarily make you feel better and it will temporarily take away the worry. For most people, that doesn't last. For most people, when they get more money, their lifestyle changes and then they have to do more to keep up with that. Their money problems just become bigger in scope. They don't change. They're the same problems, they're just more expensive. So if you think today, oh, like if you have this mindset, oh, I wish I didn't have to worry about money every day, and you're thinking that more money is going to change that, it's not going to. I see it in almost every single person I work with. And I am sure people that are millionaires worry about money. I'm sure the Kardashians worry about money. At some point, they are not worrying about the same things you and I are. They're probably not worrying about whether or not they can go pay for, something like, at the grocery store. But they're worried about something. There's something that would cause them to worry. They may be worried about how they're going to have money for their kids. They may be worried about continuing to make the same amount of money they make. They may be worried about keeping up the lifestyle that they've had. I don't know, but I can assure you, if you get more money, you're going to worry about it. I mean, unless you like win the lottery and you get so much money that you're filthy rich and it's just like, maybe. But the likelihood of that happening is very low. So I think you just have to accept the fact that, okay, me having more money is not going to make me worry less. I'm choosing to worry about something that I don't have to. And if I'm going to worry about it, let me identify the things that I'm really worried about and how can I take action steps to try to shift them. Those are the things that you can do now. Don't wait. I don't want you to worry about anything. And I'm saying this from somebody who did it for so long. And even when I talk about worry, I can feel it in my body. It's like my body starts to tense up and really constrict again because it doesn't feel good to be worried about something. And a lot of what we're worried about is usually something that is not going to happen or has never happened in our lives. So we're living our lives in accordance with a story. It's not even true. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. Nobody knows. So worrying about what could happen is not a great plan. Being in the now, saying today, what action steps can I take today to set myself up so that I'm not worried about money, so that I'm doing the things I need to do to make myself feel good in my life, whether it's making more money, whether it's saving for retirement, whatever the goal is. There are action steps you can take. And if you are not doing those things and you're choosing instead to worry about money, I can just tell you no amount of money is going to make you feel any differently. Temporarily, but it will not last. So, if you do worry about money, make an active choice that you're not going to do that anymore. You're going to let that go, and you're going to come up with ways for yourself to reframe the thing that you're worried about and or identify what those things are so that you can take action towards changing it. I can guarantee you that is going to make you feel better, and it's going to make you feel more confident in yourself, and it's going to make you realize how much control you have over your life by just starting to say, okay, I'm choosing not to worry about this thing, and here's all of the ways I'm committed to doing it. This is one thing that people don't want to do. They don't want to commit to making a change, and worrying and sticking with the same storyline that people have stuck with for a long time feels safe because it's something they know. So if you want to change your life, be committed to doing something different. Be committed to feel different. Be committed to do something new, knowing that on the other side of it is going to be you feeling better in your body, you having a better relationship with money, and that will lead you down the path of more abundance. So I hope that this was helpful for you. Please, if there's anything you take away from this today, is just to do your best to stop worrying, because in the long run, it's not going to be that helpful for you. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye. Hey, before you go, would you love to receive my 3-step masterclass to easily create and hold wealth for free? It's called Effortless Money, and it includes the exact framework to start attracting money effortlessly and manifesting abundance with more ease. If you want it for free, all you have to do is leave an honest review of the Wealth Embodied podcast, take a screenshot of this episode and put it in your Instagram stories and tag me at Brianna_Faringer, and we will send you the free Effortless Money Masterclass. This is how my clients have manifested a $13,000 check, a promotion resulting in a $30,000 salary increase, and significantly improved relationships. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next time on the Wealth Embodied podcast.